Hello everyone and welcome to Faithful to the Traitors. My name's Ben and I am forever a faithful.
Hello everyone, my name's Alex and I am also a faithful. Oh wow, we did it right.
Yeah, I thought I'd just go straight in, keep it simple. In and out, no complaints.
Not yet.
Well,
yes actually.
Well, I did have, Laurie, who's on the show.
I'm aware of her.
Remember her? She did send a message for you.
I know she did. Oh my goodness, yes, I forgot about that.
No,
I'm sorry, Laurie, I forgot about you.
No, not that. She sent a message. I've not given it to you yet.
I just don't want you to be on the show anymore.
Oh yes, okay, that was the message she sent later, wasn't it? And you had private chats.
She doesn't like you as a podcast host.
Sorry, Laurie. Oh, I can't look at it because I'm not going to go through the boredom of me having to sign out of the Instagram
This
account.
may be Alex's last show.
If anyone wants to take my place, please get in touch with us. faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com or find us on social media. Just search Traitors Podcast or Faithful to the Traitors. You can also find us on YouTube if you search Faithful to the Traitors Podcast, or if you go on to Band Productions, which is our page. We're on WhatsApp. Scan the code that's on screen right now, or you can find it on the show notes. You can also find us on TikTok. And if you want to help promote the show, don't forget to tell your friends, subscribe, like, write a comment underneath the video if you're watching on YouTube. What else can they do? Ring the bell, review us 5 stars, or you can go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful and throw us some silver coins as well.
Gold coins? Is it silver or gold on Canada?
I think it's silver on Canada. It's gold on the UK, and they're bars in the Australian version.
R.I.P.
For now. We
Channel
don't know.
7.
Channel 7. Is it? No, it was on 10, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think it's moving.
Why is there so many channels?
Why are their numbers weird? Because like in the UK, BBC 1, Channel 1. BBC 2, Channel 2. ITV, bit out there, but number 3. Channel 4, bear with me here, number 4. Channel 5, hang on, that could be on Channel 5. Makes sense.
Australia's upside down.
10, 7, 9. Makes sense. ABC.
Well, they carried on from us, didn't they?
I would imagine it's because they are actually on the tuner. In the old days, they were tuned onto that.
This isn't even the Traitors Australia. This is the Traitors Canada.
Sorry, I'm off on one again, aren't I?
We're on CTV right here.
CTV. That's
I just don't want you to be on the show anymore.
I'm sorry, Laurie, but Laurie, can you bring up Laurie's? Because I can't get it up on my thing.
Bring up Laurie's.
But basically, last week I asked people, all the contestants of the show, to get in touch and let us know what their pets were, what their names were, what their breeds were, and if you ride a bike to work.
No, we only want to know about the pets this series.
And if they ride a bike to work.
No, we don't repeat jokes.
Well, we do now because we got then a reply from Laurie, who, hello Laurie, I love you lots and lots and lots.
She's still in it.
Still in it. I love you, and I'm very angry at the moment with...
It's a bit forward.
Well, I'm sorry, Laurie, but I'm very angry with Mike right now for pointing a finger at you later in the show. Mike, with your moustache. How dare you?
I like Mike too.
I'd like Mike
so
too.
Laurie did get in touch, which all of the contestants can do if you're contractually allowed to. So
normally I would say that normally people get in touch with us after they've been eliminated. So Kirkland, I'm looking
Laurie's
at you.
still in the game though, so how do you explain that?
Because she's got beautiful handwriting.
Right, so here's my answers. I drive to work.
I being Laurie, Ben is speaking on behalf of Laurie. She drives to work, everyone. Doesn't ride a bike to work. Let us know.
Got 2 dogs pictured below on the picture, but I'm not going to share it because it's private. Uggy, Aggie. Auggie.
Aggie.
That's not Aggie. Uggy.
AU.
Yeah.
Oggy. Oh no, Oggy. Oggy. Yeah. Oggy.
And Sullivan.
That's a nice name.
They also foster puppies. We have had
the dogs foster?
No, the handwriting lady.
Laurie.
We have had over 25 different dogs over the years.
Aww.
She doesn't have a podcast.
Yeah.
Because you asked that.
But that's another thing. People tend to start a podcast once they've been on a reality TV show. That needs to be a new thing now as well.
Full-time kindergarten teacher with some speaking and writing on the side. Not a 20-year divorce. That's Mary Jo last week.
Yeah, because we were wondering, Mary Jo said she'd been divorced for 20 years.
It took 20 years to do.
It took 20 years or it has been 20 years
But Laurie did divorce over 20 years ago.
That Mary Jo did?
No, so did Laurie.
Oh, good for you,
There you
Laurie.
go.
Power to the
Just
ladies.
The dogs are better, let's be honest.
Dogs are better than men.
Exactly. Or women. And no.
Oi. Don't start.
And no, I don't have to overthink as I print the
As
name.
it writes, as she writes.
I have actually been asked to write words out for people to get tattooed on their bodies. So, you know what your next task is? You're doing a workout with Kyra.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to work on the farm with Kirkland.
I'll
Then you're going to get
Kirkland
Laurie to write a word on you.
for a tattoo.
Yeah.
What word should it be?
Karen.
Why Karen?
Karen, the presenter. And it'll be a picture of her.
No. I don't want hair on my body.
Okay, how about the traitors?
No, I don't want the traitors either.
What about the symbol of the traitors, like New Zealand task?
Yeah, but that's not
ones?
writing then, is it? That's not handwriting.
Okay. Well, you can think about it as we go, but we've got lots of
Things
for you to do. So, should we start talking about the actual
Yes,
episode?
so thank you, Laurie, for getting in touch. And as we say, if anyone else is listening to the show and wants to get in touch,
we want to know your pets.
Want to know your pets? Do you ride a bike to work?
No.
So at the breakfast table, there was only 3 people who could have been not returning for episode 4 of the Traitors Canada, and that was Pac-Man, Enoch, or Laurie. And one by one, they were walking in.
Yeah. Laurie was on the table straight away.
Laurie was on the table, literally crawling on the table toward the scrambled eggs.
Croissants
she was
in her
hungry.
hand.
You could do croissants in her hand, crunching them as she was scrambling for the eggs. And it basically last 2 that coming in were Pac-Man or Laurie. Now, again, we talk about this every series, but it
Pac-Man
feels...
or Enoch, not Laurie. Got
Sorry,
Laurie
beg
on
your
the
pardon.
brain.
Oh, just love Laurie. They always are the people who are up for murder.
Hard.
Pardon?
That's gonna be hard.
Why? You wanted Enoch gone, didn't you? We both said it was going to be Enoch.
Yeah, well, he was the most dangerous player.
It was the obvious choice, wasn't it? And Enoch, we knew it was going to be Enoch at the end of the day, and it was Enoch who had died. Got murdered. Got murdered on the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's because he was a strong player, and he had a lot of control over lots of people. So I thought it was a good move to make.
The ladies as well, Nida and Kyra, both said that they let Michael have it.
Yes.
Because they said that last episode, or last at the Traitors Tower, Michael felt a little bit dejected, a little bit like his voice wasn't being heard.
Well, we have been commenting on this, and we thought they're the traitors. He's just there to watch.
Fun.
But they
Michael
they
took
included,
a big part, though, I have to say.
exactly.
And I have to say, Michael also took a big part in the game at the end of today's episode as well. So Michael is obviously showing that his weight is needed within the group.
Men aren't all bad.
Men aren't all bad. And that Nida and Kyra actually probably are doing a better job together. So I think that...
Although allowing him to do that thing at the end could then just throw him under the bus if he got caught. So they were
But
like,
he
"You
wanted to
could
do it.
Well,
So
yeah,
it wasn't
yeah,
that
yeah.
Kyra asked him to do it and he said, he wanted it. He was the one who was actually really willing and excited. He was excited about having to do it.
The most natural thing as well, because I don't think Kyra or Nida would like naturally shake someone's hand and be like, I trust you. Do you know
But they had an opportunity there. They could have done it without any witnesses as well, but they lost. They let it trickle through their fingers. Well, it was interesting also that Michael earlier, before the round table, also had a conversation with Kevin and discovered that he could actually vote for other traitors. He was like, can you do that? And I thought that was an obvious thing. If Kevin had kind of picked up on that a bit quicker, I think he would have noticed that Michael was very, very curious about that information. He was like,
Was he
can you do
purposefully
that?
doing that to make him look like himself look like a
No,
dumb faithful though, or was he literally surprised?
I
like,
don't
oh.
think Michael knew that was a rule, and I think that Michael had just realised this, despite there being numerous series of traitors he could have entered, and surely he would have watched it beforehand.
I think he was playing there.
I don't. I
Before
think
we
Michael's
move on,
completely naive to it.
before we move on too much, then should we just do a quick
What's your name and where do you come from?
Enoch?
Enoch.
We're so in sync. Right. A former line... Let me start again. Enoch. A former linebacker from the Toronto Argonauts. Enoch has a 12-year career that includes numerous accolades and accomplishments that I will not list here, apparently. He continues inspiring many through his work with underserved youth and he is the founder of the Enoch Mumbai Foundation and the Mumbai Perfect 10 Youth Football Program.
God, that's a long foundation. HMF MP T White FP.
Exactly. He was also recognised as a top 25 Canadian immigrants of 2023. And now he's on the Traitors.
And now he's been killed on the Traitors. Exactly. I didn't know he was from the Dominican Republic. Dominican of Congo. Republic of Congo. The Democratic Republic of Congo. You know, that country that rolls off my tongue.
No, you do.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's cool. Good for him.
Big career, big things.
Someone was really happy to be at the breakfast table this morning, wasn't he?
But who?
Well, I know you've got a sound for him, so I thought I'd just kind of line up for you.
Put it in naturally.
I felt that was more natural than you probably would have later on. You just dumped it while I was mid-sentence.
Okay, well, things were looking a bit upset when Enoch was murdered because everyone liked him, but there was one thing that you could do to cheer everyone up.
But there's only one person in the group who knows that if a group needs cheering up, there's only one guy who can do it.
Backflip.
That's it.
That's what you have to do. That's all you need.
What did Nick do?
Backflipped.
He backflipped. Nick is like a circus entertainer. All he needs is a big top and some clowns and a few elephants.
Nick already is a big top, I feel.
Suspicions are there, but
Who knows?
Nick, bless him, he did a nice little backflip as he walked into the breakfast room. Can I also mention that Corrine again decided not to join them for breakfast this morning?
She slept in again, didn't she?
Did she sleep in, or is she being a lazy bitch?
I think
because I feel like she's not doing anything anymore.
Been cut.
Well, so she can't have one outfit for the breakfast, one outfit for the game.
2 outfits.
She just met them at the game again.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's doing of these mornings.
Does Nick need to do something different though? Because he's done a backflip twice in a row now.
Cartwheels.
Yeah.
He could do what Laurie did, and that's crawl along the breakfast table.
With croissants.
With croissants in each hand. He could maybe squeeze some in his feet as well. I bet he's got really long toes. Well, if he needs to spring, you need like feet like a rabbit, don't you? And rabbit feet are really long. So do you not think that his feet are probably quite long, so that his toes would then be quite long too?
You know what they say about big feet?
Big shoes.
But yeah, I feel like he needs to do a different trick now. We've seen this twice. I want something new from Nicholas.
Well,
the man who doesn't sweat.
Unfortunately, something else that wasn't new was at the breakfast table, the finger of suspicion immediately pointed at Kirkland because they said that Enoch leaving was suggesting that it was Kirkland who got rid of them. Kirkland quite rightly said, like, you know, yes, Enoch was suspicious of me, but that would have been a stupid move for me to do.
I don't know if I'm going off Melinda a bit.
Dear, what's Melinda done?
I just don't like the way she's blaming Kirkland all the time. I don't know. Just the way that she's doing it is really, I don't know. Just going off her a little bit.
Melinda is incredibly off track. Like, there's not been one occasion where Melinda has
really
been
confidently so, which is a bit more annoying to watch.
Again, I think you're confusing confidence with being a little bit brash and loud because that can be difficult. You know, people might think I'm confident, but no, I'm just very loud and obnoxious.
Watch out, because I'm a silent killer.
So I think Melinda is able to kind of influence the group more than, say, Mike is, because I thought Mike had a terrific line tonight where he said that he doesn't have the social capital like other people in the group, so he can't sway people to be with him on a vote because obviously there's a bit of friction between Mike and Jasmine between the two. Yeah. But Melinda, I think, has got that capital. I think it's weird. Melinda and Cedric are also very similar, and I think that's why if one is slightly more than... I think Cedric could have been that character if Melinda had been accused earlier on in the game. So if Melinda had the finger pointed, or if Melinda was the one who nodded at Kirkland at the last round table, I think Cedric would actually have had that similar power that Melinda's got. But unfortunately, Cedric's actually seen as more of a distraction and more of a pain, and someone who Laurie is, quote, exhausted of.
I just don't want you to be on this show anymore.
Exactly. Laurie is exhausted. Reason. She's got kids in her other job that she needs to look after. She doesn't need to be looking after Cedric.
She came here for a retreat, didn't she? A little time off.
This is a rest for Laurie.
Then there's a Cedric in the corner. And Tranna is also like going for Kirkland as well with their confidence. So, I'm just not too sure about
it. Again, I don't want to sound like there's like more to it other than Tranna thinking that Kirkland is a traitor, but I think there's also something that perhaps they're just not clicking as friends. You know what I mean? It's the same between Jasmine and Mike. I just think that their personalities are contrasting, that they will never be friends, even outside in the real world, outside the show. I don't think they would have been friends. And it's just, I think that kind of personality is the reason why there's such strong suspicions from Tranna. But though, to be fair to Tranna, at the round table, they were the ones who said, we need to be more open with one another. We need to kind of be more vocal, more real of the suspicions that we have of people.
Well, if you are that, she then pipes up and then gets you eliminated. So that's no one wanted to talk.
No, because the funny thing is that the only one who did talk then at the round table was, well, a couple of others, but predominantly Kirkland. And then when Tranna voted for Kirkland, she actually then attached it to, but I actually don't think you are anymore. Now, maybe this is a gameplay for Tranna, that she knows that if she was then to kind of pull herself away and they were to find out that she wasn't a traitor. But that's the thing. They could have won either way. If Kirkland had stood up in the corner and said, yes, I am a traitor, then I think Tranna would have said, I knew it from the beginning. I was a bit wobbly, but I knew it from the beginning. And then when Kirkland did ultimately stand up and say, oh, I'm not a traitor, Tranna can now stand up and say, I was suspicious at the beginning, but then at the end, I knew it wasn't. And it's all it's funny. Tranna is actually kind of passing the blame onto everyone else. She's kind of like saying, like, actually, I said to you all that you all needed to be open. You all needed to talk more openly about your frustrations. Look at the way the vote has gone. Very uneven. There was 5 people up for nomination, for elimination. You know, the votes were sporadic, and the reason for that is all you lot. So Tranna's kind of cleverly pulled any suspicion off of them and pushed it onto everyone else.
Well, that's a professional Big Brother player, isn't it?
It's a professional gaslighter, some might say. And I would say that Tranna needs to be very careful, because if people start to spot that they're kind of moving all doubt away from them, that's the first thing people start saying, oh, they're doing it on purpose. They're moving the doubt away from them, so it must be Tranna.
Especially when so many faithfuls have gone under their blame.
Exactly.
But I mean, the faithfuls are not doing a good job so
rubbish.
far.
They haven't eliminated one traitor.
No. Even Michael, who we thought was going to be gone very soon, they're not even, none of the 3 are being even like brought up at all.
Not really.
Like, I think Mike said Michael, didn't he? Right at the end.
A couple have said
but
Michael's
like nothing
name
like
passing.
enough. No, nothing. So they're not doing a good job.
Kyra's really in a strong position. No one has a plan. The thing is, again, that could be a hill that she could easily be toppled from, because it's good to stay under the radar and not be suspicious. It's sometimes a really bad position to be into someone's kind of like definitely
like,
not territory.
Why have they not murdered you?
Yeah,
it's that sort of
exactly.
question.
So that's
also,
tricky.
I noticed today that she said, "Oh, I barely know Nick, but I think he was being honest during that game because he cried or whatever." And I'm wondering.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about the game.
I'm wondering if it comes out that they're brother and sister before she's gone, someone's going to remember how easily she lied, saying I didn't know him, and then they'll be like, she lies easily, she must be a traitor. So maybe that will come back to her.
It completely depends on whether it comes out, because at the moment, we're episode 4, did we say? We're episode 4. There's 11 in the Canadian series, so we're almost halfway now, and it's still not come out yet. I'm wondering if it actually ever will. Genuinely, there's no reason for it to come out. There's no reason for the group to know that Nick and Kyra are brother and sister.
All she has to do is not do a backflip.
They'll be like, hang on, we've seen this before. It must be Nick.
It's Nick
Nick's
backflipping in a wig.
The game.
Yeah,
Did you like the game?
It was a bit weird. And a bit like
weird.
low key and calm, and I don't know.
Considering they were exploding bombs around them last episode, and this time they were in a theatre and they had to like.
And it was a bit
lie.
weird. Like everyone just had to sit and watch, and like just 5 people did something, and it was a bit like, okay.
Yeah, I thought that.
It's like, what's in my box?
I thought that they could
And it
have.
was really convoluted as well. The way like,
Yeah.
because Cedric, because like you, if you had nothing in your box and you lied, and they didn't know you lied, you get a reward. But
Yeah.
like Cedric didn't lie on purpose, but they didn't guess him, but then he got a reward, and it's like, what?
And the weird thing is that Cedric was telling
really
the truth,
odd.
but they thought he was lying. Nick was lying, but they thought he was telling the truth. And the group immediately thought Cedric was a traitor because of it. But they didn't think Nick was, even though he was actively lying. But Nick did say, like...
He lied in too much detail.
it was too much detail, and I wasn't looking at the box very much, so you knew that I was, I was lying.
It was a bit weird.
But ultimately, they were encouraged to... These 5 people, Melinda, Nick, Kyra, Cedric, and Kirkland, were all encouraged to think about their decision or whether they wanted to be caught out or not. Because if they weren't caught out, they would then get a weapon.
They lose the money, but get a chance at a weapon.
Yeah. So Cedric
I was very
and Nick,
excited when it said weapon. I was like, oh. And Karine was like, this is the first ever in the Traitors history. It's like, but it didn't really amount to much. So
it kind of did. They had the shield or the
but
dagger.
they didn't pick it, did they?
Well, they picked the shield.
Yeah.
which Cedric then kind of used as an excuse for not saying very much around the round table. Again, we'll talk about that in a moment.
A shield is not a weapon.
That backfired. It is. You can protect yourself. It's a weapon.
It's not a weapon. A weapon attacks.
I could bash you with a shield, and I'm sure it would bloody hurt, wouldn't you? Shall I smack you around the face with a shield?
Well, Nick's,
see if it's a weapon then,
Nick's
shall we?
promised to do that to me already, so I don't need you to do it.
But the dagger, which was the other weapon that they could have chosen, would have given them a double vote. Again, I think at this stage...
Early.
Yeah, I agree. At this stage of the game, it's too early to get a double vote. If there was
Especially
only...
with how sporadic everyone is at the moment.
If there was only... Yeah, also true. If there was only 7 left, then I think, yes, fine, that's a good backup plan. But not for this.
Too early, producers.
But I did think it was very interesting to see that, like, Nick was outed as being a liar, but they all thought that he was telling the truth, and so got caught out for it. And they didn't really suspect it. There was a couple of rumblings, but again, Kyra put out that fire quite quickly. But Cedric, because there's already that fire burning behind him, like an endless stream of hate and like people suspicious of him, like they instantly just use that as a solidification of him definitely being a traitor. But at the round table, his name wasn't really pointed out very often.
No, he said he was going to sit back and be quiet, and he's thinking, I'm going to have a relaxing day. And when he said that, I was like, no, you're not. They're all going to bring, because they were all ready to sort of bring his name up and get rid of him because they didn't want him in the game anymore, quote unquote. But he didn't really do much. It kind of went the other way. Yasmin had a few things on her. She had a few things on Mike, which didn't really go anywhere, which helped split the vote. But yeah, it was Kirkland in the end who perished.
Yes. Well, I mean, again, the round table started with trying to explain to the group that, you know, the only way we're going to get these traitors out is by being open with our theories to one another. And they were right to say that, as I say, because you can see with the votes that there are people who have thoughts of other people, but they're not opening themselves up to this interrogation very much. Whether it's because they don't want to be laying their soul onto the table and kind of like being a finger of suspicion, or whether they want to keep it to themselves and they kind of want to play their own game. It's not really been explained very well. And also, like the last round table was chaos, absolute chaos. Everyone's pointing fingers, shouting over one another. And this round table was very somber, very quiet, kind of just trickled along.
People were too scared to speak.
Yeah, Karine kind of just
had
to interrupt
speak.
No, Karine had to kind of like perk them up a little bit by encouraging them to vote. I like Nida's theatrical kind of putting out the name and then putting another name and then putting it out again and then putting another name.
Changed it 3 times.
I thought that was a good idea. That was quite clever of her. It kind of made her kind of feel like she didn't know what she was doing, which I thought was
hidden
clever.
traitor.
Yeah. But it was a shame. I feel like that there was an opportunity here for there kind of being more of a conversation, and the fact that Cedric was being quiet did backfire on him, because Laurie and Lauren both felt like that even him being quiet was a distraction, because he was like deliberately keeping himself outside of the firing line when Tranna was going for Kirkland, when Jasmine was going for Mike. I thought it was interesting when Jasmine went for Mike and said, I've been suspicious of you from day one because of all the lies. When called out on that, she didn't really come up with any. But then when Mike said, well, you've been lying all the time.
And here they are.
and he came up with them, and he gave him and Gail both came up with ways that it had happened. And yet still, with that being presented to the group, Jasmine only got 2 votes and Mike got 4. So the group believed Jasmine despite there being no evidence. But Mike, who presented evidence with Gail's you can tell Gail's on his side. And I'm beginning to really like Gail as well. They didn't listen to it.
Of a cop from like NCIS TV show.
I could see her running over a car bonnet with 2 croissants in her hands.
I mean, Yasmin wasn't playing the best game there. It's like, and also, why is she getting caught out on these lies when she's not a traitor? What's happening there? That's
because she's obsessed with Mike. She is absolutely like, Mike is living in Yasmin's head rent free right now, and she's desperate to get rid of Mike, and which is why I said I think there's more to it than just she thinks he's a traitor. I think there's something between them two, something that she doesn't like about him, and Mike's obviously picked up on it as well.
Maybe there's some cut content on the extended episodes.
Probably is, because we seem to feel that seems to happen quite often.
Before we talk about the other twist that was in this episode, you know, it carried on after the round table. We need to do one more.
What's your name and where do you come from?
Kirkland. Oh, I miss Kirkland.
Will you? Farming for love.
I will. Even though he was farming for love, I will miss Kirkland, because I think he he had so much that he could have gone. I just feel like there was a game there that he wanted to play and he never got the opportunity.
He couldn't get out of the accusations, could he?
It's just a shame he kept getting encompassed by other people who they all thought, but everyone kept thinking was traitors. Mary Jo, they all thought was traitors, and he was friendly with Kirkland. Cedric, they all think is a traitor, and he was friendly with Kirkland. It's not seemed to have worked out very nicely for him, and it's a shame.
So I was just
Sorry,
looking at
that's
what
my
that
little rant there.
about Kirkland.
About Kirkland.
A proud member of the Keem First Nation.
Cream?
Keem.
Oh.
Cheam, is it Keem? Who knows? I can't pronounce words. What is that? No one knows.
I'm going to look it up while you carry on.
From the lineage of indigenous chiefs, Kirkland is a second generation horse and cattle farmer.
Its Indian banner is the First Nations band government in the British Columbia, Canada, located near the community of Rosedale.
He's a former rodeo champion.
I can tell.
You can grip that.
Do you reckon how long can he ride? Is it a bull or a horse? Because I made this mistake before because I thought a rodeo was a bull.
Well, he works with cattle and horses.
But see, this is where I'm getting
farming
confused.
for love.
Yeah, that means nothing. But the first part, but it's horses and bull. So basically, what I'm asking is, Kirkland, do you ride a bull to work, or do you ride a horse to work?
He lives at work.
Yeah, but he has to get from his house to the farm. Surely he doesn't just
Boots.
I bet he's got a bike. I bet he rides a bike to work.
No, it would be a tractor.
Yeah, hay baler.
Well, we can't presume. He'll have to let us know.
Can you drive a hay baler from house to?
Kirkland found his way into the spotlight on the second series of
Farming for Love.
Farming for Love as
Farming
the first
for Love.
gay/two spirit farmer to appear in the series, and the first two LGBTQ plus farmer featured on an English language version of the franchise.
Two-spirit farmer. I need to look that up. That's
There was
interesting.
someone last series who was that, and someone explained it to us.
So he's a two-spirit lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer plus.
Yes, someone explained it to us last series.
Did
There
they?
was a
Obviously,
It's something about the religion of his lineage, which is like you're a spirit, so you're like any sex.
Well, he
or
must be a
something.
native of Canada.
Yes.
Before
Someone did explain that to us last series because
we
were asking.
invaded.
But he
Sorry,
did
carry
find,
on.
he did. That's the end of Farming for Love's Kirkland's bio. But he found love on the farm. That's all we need to know. Imagine the message from him where he tells us his animals because.
Oh yeah, what are your pets? I bet he's got a sheepdog.
Oh, he's gonna have everything, isn't he?
Every pet there ever was.
Well, horses, cows,
Chickens, ducks, but they're not pets, are they? They're livestock to him, so they wouldn't be pets. Like we don't farm our cat.
I'm going to look on his Instagram really
Sorry,
quickly.
our producer Charlie.
He's got goats.
Excellent.
He's got a husband.
Is that one
boyfriend.
of his pets? Is it? And a farmer.
Goats,
Horse.
horses,
Yeah.
boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
This is thrilling content for anyone
I
who's
just want
watching
another
or listening.
horse.
Indeed,
I think this
While
is
Ben's-
his favourite horse.
Whilst Ben's doing this, don't forget you can help encourage this by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful or telling your friends. There's a podcast out there where they sit there and look at an Instagram page. You don't see the Instagram page, although we do a visual podcast.
Learn how to ride a horse with Kirkland on Farming for Love.
Excellent.
What a date that would be.
So there was a twist, wasn't there, after Kirkland got eliminated?
Yes.
Shall I quickly go through the votes? Jasmine had 2. Melinda had 2, Cedric had 3, Mike had 4, Kirkland had 6. So as we say, they were very, very sporadic. He has cats.
Kirkland also has 2 cats on the farm.
They're quite cute, to be fair. Kirkland,
there's
get in
a lot
touch
to
and
go.
let us know what you...
I'm sorry, I'm scrolling his Instagram.
You
It's
should
just
do your print
ridiculous.
screen. You should record your screen while you're doing this nonsense so people can see the absolute idiocy that you're doing right now.
Cows. He's got cows
Right,
as well.
so let us know all the names of all your animals, please. Honestly, list form will be absolutely fine. And Ben, on next week's show, will go through them one by one. So,
He loves a swimming pool.
good. He's probably got his own swimming pool. It's probably one of those above ground ones, which is like completely round. Like you saw, but do you remember what was it called? That reality show with Paris Hilton and...
What, Paris Hilton's best friend?
No.
Oh, The Simple Life.
Simple Life. Remember they went to a farm and they had to clean the outside
Oh,
pool.
yeah.
So it's probably one of those.
Above-ground pool.
Above ground pool, yes. There was a twist at the end after the round table where the 3 traitors, Kyra, Michael Michael John,
So I
and
don't know what we're
Nader.
talking about. I got lost in Kirkland's
I could
Instagram
tell.
there.
That's why I'm just carrying on with the show for other people. Had to murder someone in plain sight. But by doing this, it wasn't drinking from the poison chalice like we've seen in past.
No.
They had to shake their hand and say, I
Good
trust
old-fashioned
you.
handshake.
Good old-fashioned handshake.
I trust you. Do you trust me? I trust you. Is what
All they had to
needed
say was, I
do.
trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kyra did panic a little bit because while she was having a conversation with Lauren, Lauren touched her hand and said,
I trust you.
yes. And so Kyra was a bit panicky, thinking, was that considered a handshake? But if the producers do consider that a handshake, then they're wrong, and I'm very angry with that.
Yeah,
so
well,
let's find out.
They might do that just to cause a bit of upset, maybe.
Now, while the three traitors were having a conversation about who they wanted to kill, Aaron came in and interrupted them. Now, this was a perfect opportunity. You said this, actually. I won't claim the what's the word? The
Accolade.
awards, the accolade of you saying. You said this to me as we were sat on the sofa with
Yeah, well, it was
Charlie.
the perfect time to murder because there's no witnesses. And we all know that's the perfect time to do it. Because it was just the two traitors and then the third traitor came in. It's like, well, just do it now. Just shake his hand. Go to bed. He doesn't have time to tell anyone this has happened and he dies and no one knows why.
Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
But that didn't happen. They were like, no, I don't want to get rid of Aaron. Kyra was very against it.
It was a bit tricky because people did kept walking in and out of the room, so it was a bit tricky for them, to be honest. with you.
Every time they do these things, it makes me a bit stressed. Cause
It is very stressful.
Don't like it.
And like I said, Kyra and Neda were actually surprised by Neda, but she was getting quite upset by it. But Michael was really up for it. Michael was really ecstatic about having to do this. And the decision was made that they were going to go for Dylan. Now, we don't know that Dylan actually ended up being the one murdered. We saw a picture of the clock. They did the typical 10 seconds left, 5 seconds left, 1 second
Dong.
left. I trust you. Literally on the last minute. But we're presuming Dylan is the one that's been knocked out. Now,
Or Lauren.
yes,
We do not know.
or Lauren's accidental mistake.
Are we going to have producer manipulation like America? Who knows?
I hope not, because I love Lauren, and Dylan for me doesn't do anything on the show.
He did those
Dylan's-
weird things in the first 2 episodes where he just tells people that something's happening and just stands there.
Well, yeah, exactly. Dylan's quick at, like, he throws the grenade, runs away, and watches the fallout from afar. Like he's
He's a
quick,
typical got murdered halfway through contestant, I feel.
which is why I'm happy with if it was to be Dylan. No offense, Dylan. I'm sure Dylan's a lovely guy. Didn't get in touch with us. Do you ride a bike to work? But
No.
Do you have any pets? But I wouldn't miss Dylan as much as I would miss Lauren, because also Lauren seems to be really starting to get spot on here. And I feel like she's starting to find the right people, or at least one or two of the
Potential
right
to.
people. And she has the potential to do it. Especially because I think Lauren and Laurie, because you know my feelings about Laurie, I love Laurie. And I feel like there's a real friendship between them two as well. Them two seem to be working together as well, quietly with one another. And Gail
Also,
seems to be like the third. I'm calling them
Charlie's Angels?
the new Charlie's Angels. They are. We always have 3 ladies in the game, which always work well together. And I think those 3 are the ones that
Gail,
work
Lauren,
together.
and Laurie.
For me, that's them.
Okay, well.
But I interrupted you. Sorry,
I think
you were
I was going to say, I think Lauren could potentially be the one to unmask Kyra as well, if it gets to that
I
point.
do too, because
So,
I think that Kyra and
they're
Lauren's
close.
friendship is very close.
Yeah.
Now, Mike did say before the twist came in that he basically laid his cards on the table and he said, Michael, Jasmine, and Laurie are the 3 traitors in the group. Now, he said this 2 reasons. One, because he doesn't want to be seen as basically not piping up and giving his opinion, which I think Trana from a distance was kind of admired, but also because he felt like if he was open and honest straight from the beginning, that if he got murdered, it would be so obvious. So it's actually shielded him now from getting any
That's what
kind of
people
murder.
need to start doing.
Yep,
it is
it
like
works.
a little shield in a way, but then you have to talk your way out next episode, which didn't work for Kirkland this week.
But it can be tricky because although then if you start pointing fingers, the traitors might not be so keen to get rid of you. It does mean that perhaps sometimes the faithful are more keen to get rid of you because they think that you have insider knowledge.
Especially, and then also if he's wrong, which he's wrong on 2 of the 3, then people will be like, well, you're a traitor then. If they do get rid of Gail or whatever, for example. So, yeah.
But he did go
Difficult
for
game.
my girl though, which is Laurie, so I wasn't happy about that. And I like you, Mike, but come on. Calm
like
down,
Mike,
mate.
he's
Calm
good.
down. Calm down, mate.
Right then, so What we need next week is a list from Kirkland, a full list, please,
Yes.
of animal names
Plus
and
photos,
breeds.
apparently, from the way you were
I've seen enough photos on there.
drooling over his Instagram
There's
account.
years worth of him in long hair.
There's some
God,
clickbait there, isn't there? Flippin' heck.
it never ends.
Some honey traps for Ben on Kirkland's Instagram account.
Quite.
So if Kirkland or anyone else wants to get in touch with us, like I say, open to anyone, any of the contestants, or indeed the listeners, to be fair. Let us know what pets you have. You can email us, faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at Traitors Podcast. You can find us on Instagram.
Twitter.
Oh, I just hate it.
Spit it out.
I would. Instagram or Threads by going to @FaithfulToTheTraitors. You can search for us on YouTube. Don't forget, this is also a video podcast. You can go to Faithful to the Traitors Podcast or search BAM Productions. Also, likewise, find us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any of your favourite podcast apps. If you enjoy listening to us, tell your friends, subscribe, ring the bell, comment underneath the video if you're watching us on YouTube. Or indeed, give us a 5-star review and give us the reason why you've given us a 5-star review. You can also help grow the show by paying for producer Charlie's wage, which is normally between 5 to 7 Dreamies. He is on a union contract, I've just found out, and he is protesting outside right now.
He hasn't done much work this series.
He's
actually.
protesting. He's protesting.
Normally he sits in front of us. He's not sat in front of us all series.
He's got a pickard and he's got a little bowl in front of him, and it says "Cats have rights too," you know. And there's a little paw print. Buymeacoffee.com/faithful is where you can help us monetarily. And don't forget, we've got a WhatsApp group as well where we post any future podcasts. You can either scan the QR code, which is where Ben's pretending it's on his hand right now, or you can find any of this. You can find all this information actually on the show notes below.
Well, there you go then. That's another week all wrapped up. So but remember, while you're away, you've got to do a
Backflip.
And we will see you next week.
Send us videos of your backflips.
I'll go through someone else's Instagram, shall I? Do that?
Well, no, jokes aside,
Stop the music.
Stop, calm down, everyone. Nick, I want to see a video of how many backflips he can do one after the
One in
other.
a row.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Don't ask for much, do you?
Nope, that's what I want.
Well, and then we'll see if we get that. Tune in next episode.
Tune in next episode. There's peril for you.
If we're going to see Nick's backflips.
Yes.
And stay faithful.